and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Surbi Nagrath, and today I have in the studios with me a very special and very talented young lady. Her name is Dorothy Mitchell, and she is a sophomore from Hope College, Michigan. Wait till we talk about her project. She is writing a graphic novel, and I'm going to let her do all the talking from here. Dorothy, welcome to the show.
Hi.
We're really glad you could join us, and I really want to know about this project that you're working on.
So I'm working on a graphic novel project about the Japanese Americans and a fictional family and each generation as it goes through history. And specifically, the crux of the story has to do with the Japanese American internment camps, which happened in World War II.
Okay, and tell me about why this particular topic, why Japanese? Tell me everything.
So I stumbled on this particular project because I was searching for a research idea, and I found that there was a question I had for a long time that had never been answered, and that was, why did the internment camps happen? What were people so upset about, and how could they let such a horrible thing that completely went against the principles of democracy to happen? So then I started researching it, and then I realized that there wasn't a lot of research done on the first generation of Japanese Americans, and I wanted to take everyone through the journey of everything that happened to them.
And so how did you get started? Meaning, where did you start your research and how did you do it? I understand you are a artist, and is that, what came first? The artist part of you or the writer part of you?
In this case, it's probably the writer, because I started with the research and then came to the artist. The important thing is always just to create a story and then to depict it however it's most appropriate for it.
Okay, so you are an artist and now you're also a writer, and tell me a little bit more about what got you started on this project, because I understand this project is funded. You actually have a grant.
So I am part of a group on my campus called the Mellon Scholars, which does digital humanities. It has to do a lot with research, and so I needed a topic that would sustain me through the whole year potentially, and so this got me started, and then at the end of it I had the opportunity to apply for a grant, so I thought I would extend it with a creative project.
And this is your project. Is this your first project, or you've done projects like this before?
This is my first project.
Okay. Should we go and talk a little bit about the process that got you going? I think we have some graphics here that we want to share.
Sure.
Should we go into the graphics? And I believe that is you drawing.
Yes, that's me.
And that is a special picture because?
It's just what I look like when I'm working. My mother took it.
Okay, that is a special picture. You know, every time I hear my mother took it, I think of a lot of mothers that have taken pictures, especially if you've watched the Steve Jobs movie, how his mother took a picture of him working in the garage. So hey, here is our Miss Dorothy Mitchell. Can we go to the next graphic? Talk a little bit more about this one, because this one is interesting. I see some words that I don't understand that you would understand because you have studied Japanese culture.
Okay, so this is a character sketch, and there are character sketches for the first generation, the father and the mother, and I have each of them in two costumes. Mm-hmm. So the man on the left, he's dressed in appropriate American clothing for the time, and also in the Meiji era, he's wearing a kimono and a type of pants called hakama. Mm-hmm. They look like skirts because they're very billowy and they have a lot of pleats, but they're actually pants.
Okay, and is there a particular class of society this is worn by?
Not that I know of. I tried to keep it as middle class as I possibly could.
Okay. Any particular reason you wanted the middle class in your character?
I think that middle class people have the opportunity to either go up a class or down, and so you have a lot more possibilities. They also feel more average. Mm-hmm.
And so you've got a middle-class mother and father, and you want to talk about the women's outfit?
Yeah, so the woman is wearing a kimono, and variations of the kimono were worn at all different times in Japanese history. And then she's also wearing an American dress too.
Okay. And how do you get your inspiration for how they're going to look? I mean, I'm talking hairstyles. Is there any particular reason for this hairstyle on both male and female?
Let's see. Of course, I want to show their personality as best as I can, and sometimes that changes. So, for example, the woman, while she's in a kimono, she looks very reserved, but then as an American, her more boisterous side comes out.
Okay, so the dress does dictate a little bit of the personality. Should we go to the next one? Okay. Tell me more.
So this is a full page that I've just drawn. It's just representing the part when the family leaves for the internment camp. So in the first panel, they're walking up the house, and in the second one, they're comparing their tags, which tell them which internment camp they're going to go to. So they want to make sure that they're going to the same one.
What does that mean?
There were, let's see, there were a bunch of different internment camps in all different states, and the government shipped them off to a variety, and sometimes families were split up, although that was rare.
Okay, so you really looked into the details, and go ahead, tell me more.
Okay, so in the last few panels, then we have an interaction between the brother and the sister, where the sister is very nervous, and so he instructs her to do a particular motion that will calm her down, which is writing the character for Hito on her hand.
And what does Hito mean?
Hito means person.
Hito means person. And that's a calming motion?
Yes.
It's a cultural thing?
Right.
Okay. You know, if you don't mind, can we go back to the slide 1? There was something I missed, and it says Meiji. What does that mean?
Meiji is a period of Japanese history during which they had just been introduced to the Western powers and Europe, and they were incorporating new technology, new philosophy, new things, and struggling to figure out where they fit in their culture and how they were going to use them in a way that was Japanese.
Okay, so we can go to the next slide, which was our panel slide. Did you want to talk anything more about this?
This is from the storyboarding stage, and in the storyboarding stage, I'm just trying to figure out how to make the story work visually. And so most of what I've written is reminders, like quotes, directions, a little bit of visual things, so I remember how I want them to look before I actually do a final draft.
Got it. So this is all, now can this all be written, or does it always have to be figures and graphics? And what's your experience with storyboarding?
I think it depends on the person and also a little bit on the project.
Okay.
I still struggle with it, so I don't think anybody can say that they've mastered it completely.
Got it. So that is your storyboarding, and I think the next picture is, can we go to the next picture? Let's go to the next picture.
That may be the last one.
Yeah, the last one. Oh, there we go. And that is you again, and you're sketching. I think this is a very special picture because, you know, this is your mom taking your picture, and this depicts you at your best. Now, let's click out of the picture and let's go back to the studios and talk a little more about your character development, because you had mentioned that there's a family of, in your characters, you have a mom and a dad, you have a brother and 3 sisters?
2 sisters.
2 sisters. And what's the significance of having two girls and a boy?
3 girls and a boy. No particular reason, but you know, I like girls, and it's nice to give them more of a role in the story. And I thought it just brought out some interesting character dynamics.
Yeah. So what are those? Do they have different upbringings? Do they have different identities?
Yes. So the oldest brother and the two youngest sisters have lived in the United States all their lives, but the second oldest child and the oldest daughter is a kibe, which means that she was sent to Japan to be educated for most of her life. And so she has a dual identity that is American and Japanese, which of course means that she struggles with it more than the others.
Okay. And you really thought through this. I mean, when we were talking, you were mentioning, you know, all the characters that you've developed. How do you personally actually relate to each character in some way, or is it more of a historical significance? How do you dream this up?
Right now, I'm still trying to discover who they are, what their personalities are like. Just trying to figure out what they would do.
Mm-hmm.
But probably they all share a little bit in common with me.
Yeah, yeah. Very interesting. Now, something else that I found out today, and you might know as my viewer, but I didn't know, is this is a comic style writing, and you read it from right to left. Do you want to tell me more about this?
Did I? Yeah, I did that. Whoops. So in manga style, you because of how the language is written, when it's written vertically, you read each page from right to left. And so most manga are written that way. Mm-hmm. And so then when they're translated to English, they just keep that format. And so I suppose that's more comfortable for me because I read it a lot more than actually American comics.
Gotcha. So there's an interesting story of what Dorothy's working on. I really like your project, by the way, and I wish you all the best. Now, what is it that you want to do after you're done with this project, and you of course you're finishing college pretty soon, 2 years, but soon. What are your dreams?
My dream is to become a translator of fiction from Japanese into English. And possibly to become like an English teacher over there, do some traveling, just do whatever I can.
Okay. And do you have any word for the wise? You know, people who want to follow in your footsteps, they want to write a graphic novel.
Just jump into it feet first. Like, you're going to have a lot of problems, and you'll need to figure out your own solutions to figuring those out.
And what did you run into any problems so far?
Lots. Like, say the storyboarding. That was my first time doing it, so I was struggling a little bit with how to depict that. And probably I will keep revising that system of planning and then the final draft, and this whole preparation stage takes a lot of work.
Awesome. So this is what I hear, you know, keep at it. Dorothy Mitchell here, a trooper, and wishing all of you over there to just keep at it and keep with your projects. And we are wrapped, and yeah, I think we'll just